as always. So last week we finished off pretty bullish, really strong move to the upside, create new highs. I did say it looks like my bias is shifting from bearish to bullish for dollar. And I wouldn't be surprised if this momentum does sustain, does last. And if it does do that, then we could be seeing a massive move all the way back to 113. So we could be looking at a very, very bullish USD for 2025. And that would be great because we've been stuck in a consolidation for a while. So a breakout of this area could mean a nice, healthy bullish trend like we got in 2022 as price was flying to the upside. Hopefully we get something that resembles that all the way back to 113. And of course, the main goal will be looking to buy those pullbacks, buy those dips on the way up. So that's kind of my thinking for now for USD until proven otherwise. Of course, if we have some crazy sell-off somewhere, we break back inside 107, that will definitely make me doubt that bullish bias. But for now, I'm still looking at more upside and more high lows forming. I did say my weekly analysis, I like this area here, brief consolidation. This is where the interest rate happened, big push to the upside, a lot of momentum, and has left behind some nice areas for a buy. Now, will we get there? I don't know. We're looking pretty bullish this morning, strong close than the full hour chart. But this is really where some nice confidence does lie. So it would be great if USD was to have that bigger pullback. Let's make sure we can see that fib. There we go. Have that bigger pullback, tap into 0.5, healthy area of a pullback, find some buys there, and of course sells in euro, sells in pound, and take it back to the high, and so on and so forth. Like I said, it could be the beginning of a really big move. So more upside I'm expecting this week in regards to USD. So that's really my bias. So taking the information into EURUSD, of course, I'm looking at the opposite. This one as well on the cusp of potentially a massive breakout. I did say my weekly analysis is not particularly clear or clean because we're still seeing kind of half-hearted close of candles below the zone. And we're seeing some wicks downside as well. So it's not a confident breakout at all. But I do think price is likely to keep falling based on price action in the lower time frame. So I'm still waiting for a bigger breakout to really be confident that price is about to sell off. But I did suggest earlier last week and on the weekly analysis that it could be a nice retest of this area, which looks like price has just missed out on that. I wouldn't be surprised if you were to push back up one more time and go and tag that area this week and then get the sell. That's kind of really my thinking there with EURUSD. Still looking at more downside. You've got lovely lower highs to connect with. One over there, second over there, and potentially a third. And we've got the low down here, which I still think price is likely to go and take out, which hasn't quite done that yet. So pretty bearish in euro. Of course, if I'm bullish in USD, that's what I'll be expecting. Nice zone here, really strong move to the downside. Of course, that's after the news. Left behind a pretty fresh area of support, which now will be turned resistance at 1.046. So it would be great if price was to push up one more time, retest that area, find the third lower high in this bearish sequence there. And of course, I would expect price to go and take out the lows. And then maybe this week we see a strong close below and things look very, very different. Talking about a big breakout, maybe you could be onto a big move. So that's what I'm leaning towards for euro. In terms of pound USD, I'm looking at something similar as well. We did just about take out the lows here as well. I did say on the weekly analysis too that if we do get a break of the lows, could be some nice shorts underneath because there's still that possibility where price could really bounce from that low, maybe form a really big double bottom. That is still a possibility. I'm not quite sold on that move, especially with my bias on the DXY. I do think we're likely to keep falling. We've been pretty consistent with these lower highs, but we have come back into some meaningful support right now, which could turn us around. So I would be careful from that. But if pound was to break the low this week and come back for some retest, I think that could be a nice opportunity, trying to find the next lower high. And I do have some targets lower down, which I think price has a good chance of coming back to retest, which is 1.23400, 1.235, we'll call it. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for pound USD. Of course, very similar outlook to euro, similar markets. But if we keep breaking lows, then we're likely going to keep pushing to the downside. And this is the next key target. So that's why I'm expecting price to get there. But first, it would be better if prices, of course, breaking through the low, which is probably why euro looks a little bit better to short than pound USD at the moment. In terms of dollar CAD, this one's been flying high, very, very bullish stuff. I did talk about some retests of this zone, looking pretty unlikely now. I mean, I'm still interested because if I whip out the fib, we line up with 0.618 very well. So as you can see from the low to the high, we've got the 0.618 in that area. That would be a very nice place for a retest, and looking for some entries to take it back to the high could be a very nice swing trade. And then I do think dollar CAD's still got a while to go. If I go to the weekly chart, I'm still looking for 1.46, 1.47, push back into that resistance up there. So dollar CAD to me is very bullish, but I don't think we're going to turn around just yet. We'll see what we can do at these areas. Maybe we do turn around, but for now, I do think more upsides on the card. So if we do sell off for dollar CAD, expecting that to be a high low, so looking to buy and take it back up again. We've broken through some significant resistance not too long ago. I was originally pretty skeptical with the breakout. I wasn't too sure if this was actually a breakout or potentially a big fake out. And a dodgy close on the monthly chart as well. But momentum has proven otherwise. We're seeing really confident candles to the upside. And this is definitely 100% a breakout. Yeah, we'll be looking at pullbacks and more upside. So 1.415 is still my area of interest, but yeah, looking extremely bullish. In terms of Aussie dollar, of course, looking at more downside, being particularly bearish. Of course, USD last week was so bullish, so all these pairs pretty much melted. But looks like Aussie dollar is likely going to take out these lows here at 0.617. So I did suggest some pullbacks last week to keep shorting. It would be nice if price was to come back and retest the low here. As you can see, we kept up very well with this bearish structure. High, lower high over there, second, or third, fourth, and looking for that fifth, another correction into that area, lower high, and then continuation. And that's still very much the plan with Aussie dollar. Really strong drop, looking at a bit of a breather, bit of a counter trend move, and then more downside is really the plan. But yeah, very bullish on USD, so that does make me very bearish on all these USD majors. Of course, some pairs look better to get involved than others, but I think Aussie dollar looks really good. New Zealand dollar looks really good as well. Very similar to Aussie dollar in the way they both moved. Very kind of, so it fell off a cliff, slowly falling. They picked up the pace. But again, for New Zealand dollar, I do think we've got some more downside to work with. Back down to these lows here, just below 0.555 is where I do expect price to end up at. So again, looking for some pullbacks. Would be nice if price to come back and retest that low. Again, maybe you don't quite do that. I'll probably keep an eye on this area here too. That brief consolidation, broke through great momentum, haven't come back for a retest since the break. So it would be nice for price to come back and retest that same area. Like I said, we may push up a little bit deeper. I would argue that's the better area to short from anyway, and then get the sells. But that's very much still the plan with New Zealand dollar. Very consistent with the lower highs as well. Then jumping over to gold. Gold, we got a big sell-off, didn't we? And I did speak about some shorts with this one on the retest of this area. Looks like we just about tapped into that area this morning. This is not a trade I'm in, by the way. This is just something I was mapping out during my weekly analysis. I do think there's a nice area to short for gold. I still do think gold is likely to continue back to the lows at 25.55. I'm looking at this as a pullback for the continuation. We had a really strong drop, breaking the lows here as well after a really aggressive double top, 1, 2. So in my book, I do think gold's like to keep falling. And again, if USD is going to be strong, that's a recipe for more downside for gold most of the time. Most of the time we'll see more downside. But of course, there are some times where gold does not care what USD is doing. But for now, looking more downside, just about tapped into that zone. How we're looking in an hourly chart. It'd be nice if we picked up momentum a little bit more. But yeah, starting to look a little bit bearish from that area. I do think we can see a bit of a drop. And then, of course, silver is a similar situation to gold. In terms of longer term, I am very bullish on silver. Still looking to try and find some buying opportunities from somewhere. At the moment, not quite there yet. Still looking at a higher low, but after the move from last week, strong move down, I think price is likely to correct itself, maybe come back into this area, see a lower high, and continue to sell off back to the lows. I think that could be a nice little move this week. Pull back into 30.2, 30.4, and some shorts back into the low.